Hello and welcome to another episode of Grown As Citizens, and I am your hostess, Michelle Crenshaw. We have not posted a video in about 2 weeks, and that is mainly because I have just been kind of overwhelmed by the propaganda machine and watching it unfold, and I kind of didn't want to make any comments until I had sort of, let things unfold and really scrutinize them. But I'm going to just try to hit a few things. First of all, let's just start with Ukraine. Nothing has changed. The United States is completely committed to dismantling this country and to strategically planting itself on the borders of Russia because we are instigating a fight with Russia. Now, they can make it that Russia is instigating a fight, but they know, and anybody that's really following the facts of this whole situation knows that the United States is just over there trying to start a fight because why? We want to get the benefit of what going to war does, which is that all the elites make buku money every time we go to war. And so since we're running out of places to go to war, because Syria is actually, Assad is kicking their asses, so they're frustrated about that. So what else can they do? I already know that the vast majority of American citizens believe that Russia is trying to take over Ukraine and that the United States is coming to Ukraine's rescue. And nobody's going to talk about the fact that Victoria Nuland is recorded talking about changing the government before it ever happened. And I'm appalled that Biden, the vice president of the United States, would take his behind over there and meet with some people that took over the government by an illegal coup. As long as the United States is going to deny that they were involved, then we're not going to get any further with that conversation, so it's pointless to keep talking about it. All I'm going to say to you as grown-ass citizens is prepare for the worst. You should assume that the United States is going to press it and press it and press it until there is some kind of conflict between the U.S. and Russian troops, because that's what they want. Okay, so you pray about it and you see how you think it's gonna pan out in the long run. I really don't know. I could speculate and say, oh, we're gonna go to war and it's World War III. I could, and we might, and if we do, oh well, we deserve it because we did not stop these sociopaths from running them up. We don't have it in us. I'm convinced about that with the American people. We just don't have it in us, which takes me to the next topic. I told you all what was going on with that damn plane. Now, when that plane first came up missing, they said, "Oh, the black box will only last for 2 weeks." Then, when 2 weeks was up, they said, "Oh, but sometimes they can last for 3 weeks." And then, when 3 weeks was up, "Oh, it usually can last about 30 days." And then, when 30 days passed, and they still hadn't found anything because they already knew it wasn't there because all of that was a false flag in the first place. Then they said, "Oh, it could go a few more days." And finally, now we're not hearing about it anymore. And the reason we're not hearing about it anymore is because what was meant to be achieved from that fiasco, okay, that false flag smokescreen distraction, was that Jacob Rothschild now owns the patent for a cloaking device that will allow an airplane to go undetected by radar, sonar, or anything like that, which is exactly what the Malaysia flight did. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure since they had launched the announcement of the cloaking device the day before, I'm pretty sure they tested it out on the Malaysia flight. And hey, it worked. And now those people are nowhere to be found. And they're not going to be found because they're not at the bottom of the sea, right? They know exactly where they are. Wherever they are, they know where they are. I'm going to go do a LaToya Jackson. They know who they are. Yeah, they do. And so do you if you're a grown-ass citizen. Okay? The powers that be, they know what they do. Now, back to the United States. I mentioned earlier in another video about the use of executive orders. I don't even think I posted the actual full version of that video because I know that nobody wants to really go through American history school. Nobody wants to revisit that. Okay, but there are just too many legalities of the U.S. Constitution that have been broken that American citizens seem to have no awareness of. And so I'm going to post this video. It's long and I know you busy and you don't have time and you got to cook for your kids and you got to spend time with your man and you got to go to the movies and you got to look at Dancing with the Stars and you got to look at American Idol or whatever the hell you do that you think is a valuable way to spend your time. But on my watch and learn playlist, I'm going to put this video that I just saw. It's called Homeland Insecurity, Rise of the Global Police State. And it is almost 3 hours long. But what I would suggest that you do is probably divide it up into different sections. But it gives you a very good idea and very good background information on things like the basic structure of the Federal Reserve, how the Federal Reserve Act was passed illegally. This is way back in 1913. And the Federal Reserve Bank was then set up consequently. How the income tax law was manipulated in such a way, also passed illegally, the 16th Amendment, so that through those two means, the Federal Reserve being set up and then the income tax law being passed in order to tax people so that the tax would pay the interest on the money that we borrow from the Federal Reserve. Now, if you don't understand how the Federal Reserve works, then what I just said probably didn't make any sense. But that's the connection that you need to make between the Federal Reserve. When you see the little short troll looking lady, I can't think of her name right now, but when you look at her, all right, and you see her talking about, well, we don't know if we're gonna release any more money. We'll just slow down our quantitative easing. So when you look at that, you know that you're actually dealing with an entity that is not the United States government at all, and they are controlling interest rates and they are controlling the value of the money that we have. And that takes me to the last thing that I want to say. I don't know what you're doing with your life right now, but I hope that what you're doing is preparing for the future, because the future in the United States of America is going to be a horse of a very different color. Right now, you need to be preparing. You need to be stockpiling some food, which they're going to make against the law eventually. You need to be building some kind of urban garden. And if you're here locally in the Los Angeles area, if you need some help with that, I'm happy to steer you in the right direction. We actually at Grown As Citizens do provide a service where we will plant your urban garden and maintain it for you, and then I will give you a complimentary canning class so you can learn how to can your food and store it away so that it'll last even in the event of say a power outage or something like that. So these are the kind of things I suggest that you do. If you don't do them, okay. If you believe that the United States should go be engaged in another foreign entanglement, that's the whole new thing now. Everybody that's like really aware of the geopolitical agenda is now speaking out specifically against the fact that us being involved in so many foreign affairs of so many different countries is all in violation of the Constitution. So at the end of the day, I was born in the United States of America, and I was born into the Constitution of the United States of America, both copies. And the funny thing is, and this probably is the last thing I need to say, is that the United States, the citizens don't even know, and I'm specifically talking to white folks right now, y'all know we were chattel. Everybody knows black people were chattel. But you don't know that in this United States that we're living in right now, so are you. And you have been sold off as a commodity, and there's a bond on your head. Now, what does she mean by that? Do some research and find out. I'll talk to you about it in a different episode. Right now, I just wanted to give you an update that, propaganda runs amok. It is to the detriment of the citizens of the United States of America. So please boycott mainstream media. There are so many other resources that you can tap into in order to inform yourself about what's going on in the world. I'm telling you what's going on in the news, but I have a bigger agenda, which is to help you and prepare you for the future. That's what I'm trying to do, trying to help people prepare for what is getting ready to come, because you all are not ready for martial law, but it's coming. You're not ready for massive food shortages, but they're coming. You're not ready for the reality that no food will be exempt from GMO manipulation in a minute. We're to that point. 70% of all the soy is GMO. And the corn is already GMO, and the wheat. So what you going to do? First of all, you need to get off of wheat products anyway. That's my new challenge. I'm trying to get off of any kind of flour, any kind of gluten product. And I'm doing that for two reasons. Because of the GMO problem. And I'm not gluten intolerant, but I guess I am gluten intolerant because I'm fat. Because I eat very well, but I eat way too much bread and pasta and things like that. So I'm taking all that. I'm gradually trying to phase that out of my diet and replace it with things that are healthier. So I'm not just talking crap. I'm actually talking from my heart, and I'm living what I'm doing. So if somebody says, well, how could she tell you anything with her fat ass? And I did say her fat ass. Just remember, I'm doing everything I know, reading about nutrition, going to workshops, and learning what I need to learn so that I can figure out what it is going on with my body as far as my metabolism is concerned. And I am exercising now, walking most days to stimulate that. And actually, as I'm looking in the camera right now, I think I have lost a little weight. Actually, I can see it in my clothes. But it's not about losing weight so I can be cute and, twerk myself. It's about being healthy so I can survive. Because right now, with all the, toxins in the air and everything, if you're not very, very healthy, you're going to contract something. And I'm just going to say, all praise is due to the Holy Creator, the one mind, the one spirit, for bringing us this far and giving us the tools that we need to ascend. Because that ultimately is my objective, to ascend to a higher way of thinking, ascend to a higher way of behaving, ascend to a higher relationship with my fellow man and with all of nature and creation around me, so that I can manifest the best me into this universe that I can, and I can facilitate some kind of positive impact. I don't want to be a part of the problem. It's about being a part of the solution. So peace and blessings to you. This is Grown Ass Citizens. I'm back on track now. Like I said, I took a little break, but I'm back, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on, particularly over there at the White House. I encourage you to watch the last few days. This is April 25th. I encourage you to go back and look at the State Department press conferences for like maybe all this week, really, because those reporters were letting them have it. Yeah, because now the U.S. press is starting to say, what the hell? And all I can say is, good for you guys. And, maybe if there's enough journalists that will take the risk to ask the dangerous questions, because you got to remember, this is life and death. This is life and death. When you start talking against what the government is doing, okay, when you start let's correct that. When you start telling the truth on what they are doing, yeah, then you already pegged as being some kind of danger or some kind of threat. Just because you're telling the truth. So y'all better be careful. That's all I can tell you. That's what old people say. Be careful, baby. Be careful. And better than that, be informed and be a grown-ass citizen and think for yourself and live free. Peace and blessings. Talk to you guys next time.